I was out plowing on the tractor, and a word came to me, not like an audible thing, but just in my spirit said, you need to go to Hollywood and work on films.
So I moved to California on a whim with a couple of college buddies. I was hanging out at the beach, and I saw a movie being filmed called White Men Can't Jump. So I asked a kid who was standing there telling the girl in the bikini and the rollerblades when to skate back and forth, what is your job?
I was within 4 blocks of 5 movie theaters. I grew up. Get up, I'd go out, I'd find Coke bottles, and I'd go to the movies every day. I was a latchkey kid.
A friend of mine next door asked me if I would help her PA one day. And I was an unemployed surfer at that time.
Came out here in my early 20s. I ended up walking into this office one day, and as soon as I walked in the door, this location manager said, come with me.
I actually came to Los Angeles to be an actress. And that lasted not a year.
When I got out of college, I became a television director in local TV in various places back east. So when I came out here, I got in the Directors Guild Assistant Directors Training Program, which was one of the luckiest things that ever happened to me.
As I was walking down to the lab one day, sitting on the curb was one of my fraternity brothers. And I said, what are you doing? He says, well, I work here. I said, well, what do you do? He says, well, I'm a production assistant, but I'm getting promoted. I says, well, can I get your job when you move up? He says, well, let me see.
Well, first job actually was really as an usher at a movie theater when I decided that I wanted to do films.
I remember getting out of college and literally sitting in my living room, and I had every book possible, every address possible to send my resume, and I was sending everything out to Los Angeles.
I'm tenacious enough to get myself on the lot with my resumes, my cheesy resumes that basically, at 16 and 17, they had nothing on them but my name and a phone number. And most of the time they'd be like, thanks anyway, kid. And finally, this low-budget independent film company said, okay, we'll give this kid a chance.
When I was 15 in the summer of 1970, I happened upon a film crew shooting on the streets of New York, and I was captivated.
I actually started in advertising. First time I saw a commercial being shot and I saw the crew work, I was fascinated by what was going on.
I fell into being a first AD a little bit by accident. I took an internship on a movie, and of course, being naive enough, I said I want to work with the director. And the assistant directors were doing the schedule right next to me, and they said, you come with us.
I wanted to be in the movie world. If you don't come from a family, or if your father is not a director, it's very difficult. It has to happen by chance.
I didn't have much choice. My father was a prop. I had 3 older brothers. One was a writer, one was an editor, and one was a director.
When I was young, I enjoyed going to the set to see my dad work, and I would watch the assistant director. It just intrigued me, and I thought, that's kind of the position I'd like to be in.
I didn't come from film school. I didn't come from a film family or anything like that. I didn't even know what an AD was. My wife, she saw an ad in the Hollywood Reporter, and it was a director looking for an assistant. It was no pay. It said, learn the business. And I thought that was perfect.
Brian Frankish hired me to be a PA on commercials he was shooting. It was a non-stop blur of new experience for me.
I moved down to here into Los Angeles, working for a commercial film company. I was the janitor for a couple of months, and then I was the shipping clerk. Then I started running the film to the lab, and I started learning what it was all about.
I got my degree in business economics at UC Santa Barbara, and I took the CPA exam and failed it miserably. And my sister was in the business. She'd just become an AD, and she goes, come work with me, see how you like it.
Started in the office, and then they kind of moved me to set, and I loved it. I was an intern there and became a PA basically, and that was it.
I literally went from graduating college, and the Tuesday after Labor Day was my first day as a trainee through the Directors Guild.
I got into films to inspire and influence people. Frank Capra, what he said was, you get somebody in the theater for 2 hours, you can inspire and you can change their life.
Things worked out, the stars aligned, it just took off for me.
I love being an AD.
you end up on a set and you start doing something, you start to be helpful, and you end up being an assistant director.
And the rest is history.
Here I am, legendary.